Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something we all struggle with at some point in life. Our weak feelings, the doubts, the fears, the insecurities that hold us back from becoming the best versions of ourselves. We all have them, but here's the truth. You are not your weak feelings. We all face moments where life seems impossible, where the world feels heavy on our shoulders, where we question our worth, our purpose, and our strength. But we cannot let those fleeting moments define us. Weakness is not permanent unless we allow it to be. It is a feeling, not an identity. We all have the power to rise above. Our strength isn't in the absence of weak feelings, but in our ability to stand tall despite them. In our ability to say, I will not let these feelings control me. So how do we kill our weak feelings? By shifting our mindset, by rewriting our story. First, we confront them. Weak feelings thrive in silence, in avoidance. The more we suppress them, the more power they have over us. Face them head on. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Dig deep. Weakness comes from the stories we tell ourselves. Stories that aren't true. Break those chains. Second, we shift our focus from what we can't do to what we can. There will always be things we can't control, but we can control our actions. We can control our responses. We can choose to grow even in the hardest of times. So stop focusing on what's going wrong and start focusing on what you can do to make it better. Every little step forward is progress. And finally, we need to realize that we are enough. Weak feelings often stem from the belief that we are not good enough, not strong enough, or not capable enough. But remember this, you are whole, you are complete, and you are stronger than you think. Your value isn't determined by how many times you fall, but by how many times you rise. If you've been knocked down, rise. If you felt defeated, rise. If you've been made to feel small, rise. The power to rise is within you. So today I ask you, kill those weak feelings. Let them go, not because they don't matter, but because you are stronger than them. Let them fade away as you embrace your true strength, your resilience, and your power. And remember, your journey is not about avoiding weakness. It's about embracing your strength and walking with it every single day, because the strongest thing you can do is to never let your weak feelings define you. Confronting your weak feelings is not as simple as acknowledging them. It's about standing up to them with unwavering courage. Weak feelings like fear, doubt, and insecurity have a strange way of growing when we avoid them, when we try to push them into the corners of our minds and pretend they don't exist. The truth, however, is that these feelings are just that, feelings. They come and go, but when we run from them, they end up running our lives. It's easy to think that if we ignore them, they will somehow vanish, but in reality, they only grow stronger in the shadows. We often assume that strength means never feeling weak, but the reality is that strength comes from facing the discomfort, the vulnerability, and the fear. Confronting your weak feelings is the first step in realizing that they do not define you. They are not permanent. They do not own you. They are simply passing visitors. And you hold the power to either let them take up space or to challenge them until they leave. Think about the last time you felt uncertain about something. Perhaps it was a decision you had to make, or a challenge you had to overcome, or even just the everyday feeling of not being good enough that we all experience from time to time. How did you respond? Did you shy away, try to numb the feeling, or bury it deep within? Or did you take a step toward it, acknowledging it, questioning it, and standing your ground? Confronting weak feelings requires more than just noticing them. It requires active engagement. It means looking them in the eye and asking, why are you here? What is it that you are trying to tell me? Every emotion, whether positive or negative, carries valuable information. Weak feelings are not just hindrances, they are messengers. They alert us to places in our lives where we may need growth, healing, or change. The more we run from them, the more they remain unresolved. When you feel doubt creeping in, Don't silence it. Ask yourself, where is this doubt coming from? Is it based on your past experiences? Is it rooted in something someone else has said to you? Or is it a product of fear of the unknown? Recognizing the root of your weak feelings is key to understanding how to deal with them. Sometimes our doubts are simply projections of our fears. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not measuring up. These are normal human fears, but they are not truths. And when we confront them, we gain the clarity to see them for what they are, transient feelings that don't have the power to control us unless we allow them to. Confronting weak feelings also involves shifting your perspective. Instead of viewing them as roadblocks or weaknesses, start seeing them as invitations to grow. When doubt creeps in, it is an opportunity to reinforce your self-belief. When fear rises, it's a chance to practice courage. When insecurity surfaces, it's an invitation to affirm your worth. Every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are bigger than what is trying to hold you back. But confrontation doesn't mean fighting or rejecting your weak feelings. It means allowing yourself to feel them without judgment, without shame. We've all been conditioned to believe that negative emotions are a sign of weakness or failure. But the truth is, emotions are part of the human experience. They are meant to be felt. The issue arises when we resist them or allow them to control us. In confronting weak feelings, we must let go of the expectation that we should always feel strong, composed, or unshakable. Life isn't about avoiding emotions, but about embracing them and learning from them. It's okay to feel weak sometimes. It's okay to feel scared, unsure, or unworthy. Those feelings do not make you weak. They make you human. Confronting them means accepting that you are allowed to experience them without letting them consume you. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror, facing yourself. You see all of your strengths, but you also see the cracks, the doubts, and the insecurities that you try to hide. Instead of turning away, take a deep breath and stand tall. Look at yourself with compassion. Recognize that these weak feelings are a part of you, but they don't define you. You can choose how to respond. You can choose to rise above them. The act of confronting weak feelings is also about giving yourself permission to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is often perceived as a weakness, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful forms of strength. Vulnerability means you are willing to show up as your true self, without armor or masks, even when it feels uncomfortable. It is only by allowing ourselves to be vulnerable that we can begin to heal, grow, and transform. We don't have to hide our feelings in shame. We can stand with them, feel them fully, and then decide how we want to move forward. One of the reasons we often avoid confronting weak feelings is because of the fear of being judged. We worry that if others see us struggle or fail, they will think less of us. But the truth is, everyone experiences weakness. Everyone has moments of doubt and fear. It is not in the feeling itself that we find strength, but in how we deal with it. When we confront our weak feelings, we send a message to the world that we are not afraid to be real. We are not afraid to be vulnerable, and in doing so, we inspire others to do the same. Think about a time when you saw someone openly confront their own weak feelings. Perhaps it was a friend, a colleague, or even a public figure. You saw them struggle, but you also saw them rise above it. What did that do for you? How did it make you feel? I imagine it made you respect them even more because you witnessed their courage in embracing vulnerability. Confronting weak feelings does not diminish you. It elevates you. It shows your inner strength. It shows your ability to face discomfort and still move forward. Another crucial part of confronting weak feelings is learning how to let go of the need for perfection. Many of us are afraid to confront our feelings because we fear that we should have everything figured out. We want to appear strong, unshaken, and flawless. But perfection is an illusion. No one has it all together all the time. The more we chase perfection, the more we run away from the reality of being human. To confront your weak feelings means embracing imperfection. Accepting that you don't have to have it all figured out and being okay with that. When we confront our weak feelings, we create a space for healing. Healing isn't a linear journey. There will be ups and downs, good days and bad days, moments of progress and moments of setbacks. But every time you face your weak feelings head on, you take one more step toward healing. It might not feel like progress in the moment, but every time you acknowledge a weakness without letting it control you, you are strengthening your resilience. You are developing the emotional muscles needed to face even bigger challenges in the future. Rising above adversity is not a simple task, nor is it something that happens overnight. It requires resilience, determination, and the ability to transform challenges into stepping stones for growth. Every person at some point in their life faces hardships that seem insurmountable. These moments of struggle can feel like they define us, but it's important to understand that adversity does not have to define our entire story. It is not the adversity itself that shapes who we are, but how we respond to it. Rising above adversity means refusing to let life's challenges keep you down, no matter how heavy the weight or how long the struggle. One of the most essential aspects of rising above adversity is perspective. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeing obstacles as permanent and all-encompassing, as if they are the only thing that exists in that moment. When we face hardships, it often feels like we're stuck in a never-ending loop where every effort we make to move forward is met with another setback. But the key to rising above adversity is learning to shift your perspective, to see the challenge not as a barrier, but as an opportunity for growth. Adversity is not something to be avoided or feared. It is something to be faced, learned from, and used to propel you forward. When you face adversity, your first instinct might be to retreat or to shut down emotionally, but instead try to reframe the situation. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? Often the most difficult experiences carry with them the greatest lessons. The challenges that seem impossible to overcome are the ones that teach you the most about yourself, about your strength, and about the world around you. By shifting your focus from the pain or the struggle to the potential for growth, you can find meaning in the adversity. This shift in perspective allows you to see the experience as a teacher rather than as something you must simply endure. Another key element in rising above adversity is resilience. Resilience is not the ability to avoid hardship, but the ability to bounce back after it. Life is full of ups and downs, and resilience is the muscle that allows us to keep going when things get tough. It's easy to feel defeated when things don't go as planned, especially when we've invested so much of ourselves into something. But resilience means you don't let failure, rejection, or hardship break you. Instead, you allow those experiences to build your strength. It's about finding the courage to keep going, even when you don't know what the outcome will be. Resilience is built through experience, and the more you face and overcome adversity, the more you build your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Rising above adversity also requires an unwavering belief in yourself. It's easy to doubt your abilities when faced with challenges, especially when things don't go as expected. But self-doubt only serves to keep you stuck in a cycle of negativity. Believing in yourself means trusting that you have the strength, the wisdom, and the resourcefulness to navigate difficult situations. It means knowing that even if you don't have all the answers right now, you will figure things out as you go. It's the belief that no matter how tough the situation is, you are capable of overcoming it. This belief in yourself gives you the courage to take risks, to keep moving forward, and to trust that you will come out stronger on the other side. One of the most powerful ways to rise above adversity is to focus on the present moment. When we're facing difficulties, it's easy to get caught up in the what-ifs and the uncertainty of the future. We worry about how things will turn out, how long the struggle will last, and whether we'll be able to make it through. But the future is unpredictable, and worrying about it only takes away from your ability to act in the present. Rising above adversity requires focusing on what you can do right now in this moment. What is within your control today? What steps can you take today to move forward? By focusing on the present, you free yourself from the paralysis of fear and uncertainty, and you can take concrete actions that will help you rise above your challenges. Support is another crucial aspect of rising above adversity. No one should have to face hardship alone. It's easy to feel isolated when you're struggling, especially if you feel like others don't understand what you're going through. But the reality is that we all face adversity in different forms, and reaching out for support can be one of the most powerful ways to rise above it. Whether it's through friends, family, or a professional support system, having someone to talk to lean on, and to help guide you through difficult times can make all the difference. Asking for help doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. It takes strength to admit that you need support, and that support can give you the strength you need to keep moving forward. Another key element in rising above adversity is patience. We live in a world that values quick fixes and instant results, but overcoming adversity is rarely an overnight process. It takes time, persistence, and patience to navigate through tough times. It's important to remember that healing, growth, and change don't happen on a set timeline. Sometimes you have to give yourself permission to be where you are in the moment, to accept that you may not have all the answers, and that's okay. Patience is about allowing yourself to go through the process, trusting that even when progress feels slow, it's still progress. Overcoming adversity isn't a race, it's a journey. And every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Rising above adversity also means finding strength in vulnerability. It's easy to think that being strong means being stoic, hiding your emotions, and pretending everything is okay. But true strength comes from being honest about your struggles, from allowing yourself to be vulnerable, and from accepting that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you open the door to healing, connection, and growth. It's in those vulnerable moments that you often find your greatest strength. When you allow yourself to feel, to express, and to be honest about your experiences, you free yourself from the weight of trying to be perfect. You allow yourself to simply be, and in that space, you find the strength to rise above adversity. Rising above adversity requires hope. No matter how dark the situation may seem, holding on to hope gives you the strength to keep going. Hope is the belief that things can get better, that change is possible, and that the future holds opportunities for growth and healing. It's hope that keeps you going when everything seems impossible. Holding on to hope, even in the toughest times, helps you rise above adversity and continue moving forward with courage and determination. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most empowering choices you can make. It's about recognizing that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you are the one who ultimately shapes your reactions, decisions, and future. Too often we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of blame, either blaming others or external circumstances for our unhappiness, failures, or struggle. But when you shift your focus from what you can't control to what you can, you take back your power. You move from a place of helplessness to one of strength, purpose, and action. At the heart of taking responsibility is the realization that your life is a product of your choices. Every choice you make, whether big or small, influences your present and your future. The relationships you nurture, the career paths you pursue, the habits you form, and the way you approach life. All of these choices are within your control. While you cannot predict every outcome or guarantee that everything will go according to plan, you have the ability to determine how you respond to every situation you face. And that ultimately shapes the course of your life. When you begin to take responsibility for your life, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. You stop attributing your struggles to the actions of others or to the uncontrollable forces around you. Instead, you recognize that while external events may happen, how you react to them is entirely up to you. This shift in mindset is incredibly freeing. It removes the need to seek validation or approval from others because you know that the power to create change in your life lies within your hands. You begin to realize that you are the one who can make things happen, and that understanding becomes the fuel that drives your actions. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to do everything on your own or that you have to carry the weight of the world by yourself. It doesn't mean denying your emotions or pretending that everything is always fine. In fact, taking responsibility includes acknowledging when things are difficult, seeking help when needed, and being honest about where you are. It means recognizing that even in moments of vulnerability or uncertainty, you have the ability to choose how you move forward. You may not have all the answers right now, and that's okay. What matters is that you are willing to take ownership of your actions and decisions and take the necessary steps to create the life you want. One of the most common ways people avoid taking responsibility for their lives is by blaming others. It's easy to point fingers when things go wrong, whether it's blaming a partner for a relationship issue, a boss for a career setback, or society for a lack of opportunity. But blame doesn't change anything. It doesn't solve the problem or move you closer to a solution. In fact, blaming others can keep you stuck in a victim mentality where you feel powerless and unable to make progress. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop blaming others for your circumstances. You begin to ask yourself, what can I do to improve the situation? What steps can I take to move forward? Taking responsibility also means being honest with yourself about the choices you've made. It's easy to make excuses for why things didn't work out or to blame external factors for your failures. But true growth comes from self-awareness and honesty. When you take responsibility, you acknowledge both your successes and your mistakes. You recognize that your choices have consequences and you learn from them. This doesn't mean beating yourself up over every misstep or regretting every decision you've made. It means understanding that every experience, good or bad, offers valuable lessons that can help you grow. This level of self-awareness requires courage. It's not always easy to look at yourself honestly and see areas where you've fallen short or made poor choices, but it is essential for growth. When you take responsibility for your life, you are not just accepting your past actions, but also making a commitment to yourself to improve. You are setting the intention to make better choices, to learn from your mistakes, and to take control of your future. Another powerful aspect of taking responsibility is understanding that you are not defined by your past. Everyone has experienced failures, setbacks, and hardships, but these do not have to define your future. Taking responsibility for your life means choosing not to let past mistakes or circumstances dictate who you are today. It means giving yourself the freedom to start fresh, to make new choices, and to create a life that aligns with your values and goals. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not have to limit you. One of the key benefits of taking responsibility is the empowerment that comes with it. When you stop waiting for things to change or for others to fix your problems, you take back your power. You realize that you are the one who can make things happen. Whether it's improving your relationships, advancing your career, or enhancing your well-being, you are the one who has the ability to make a difference. This realization is incredibly empowering. It shifts you from a passive role where you are at the mercy of external circumstances to an active role where you take charge of your life and create the changes you want to see. Shifting your focus from what you can control to what you can is one of the most powerful changes you can make in your life. It's incredibly easy to get caught up in the things that are out of your hands. Life throws challenges at us every day, and often these challenges seem bigger than us. Whether it's a difficult situation, a person's behavior, or an unexpected turn of events, the temptation to fixate on what we cannot change is overwhelming. But when we constantly focus on things that are beyond beyond our control, we drain ourselves emotionally and mentally. We end up feeling powerless and overwhelmed. The first step in shifting your focus is to acknowledge what is in your control and what isn't. You cannot control how others behave, how the world turns, or even many of the external circumstances that you encounter. It is futile to spend time and energy trying to manipulate things you cannot change. But what you can control is your response to those circumstances. You can control your actions, your mindset, your emotions, and your decisions. These are the areas where your power lies. When you stop trying to control everything around you, you free yourself from the endless cycle of frustration. Think about how much mental energy goes into trying to change the outcome of situations that are beyond your grasp. For example, consider a situation where someone treats you poorly and you obsess over how to make them understand your point of view. You replay the conversation in your head over and over again, analyzing every word and wondering what you could have said differently. The reality is that no amount of thinking about it will change how that person reacts. The only thing you can control is your response to their behavior, how you choose to move forward, and how much emotional space you allow them to take up in your life. This shift in focus requires a deep understanding that you have the power to control your own actions. You cannot change someone else's behavior, but you can decide whether or not you allow their actions to affect your peace. You can choose to respond with grace, to let go of resentment, and to focus on your own well-being instead of staying stuck in someone else's negativity. By focusing on what you can control, you stop giving away your power to others. One of the most common areas where we struggle with control is our expectations. We often expect life to unfold a certain way, and when things don't go according to plan, we feel frustrated and defeated. For example, you might have a vision of how your career should progress, how relationships should evolve, or how you want your life to look at a certain point. When things don't align with those expectations, it can lead to feelings of disappointment. But when you shift your focus from what you expected to what is possible, you open yourself up to new opportunities. You can start to see life not as something that must fit into a specific mold, but as a journey full of lessons and growth. We need to learn how to release rigid expectations and embrace the unknown. It's about accepting that life may not always go according to plan, but that doesn't mean it's a failure. Every experience, whether positive or negative, teaches us something valuable. When we focus on what we can control, we allow ourselves to adapt, to grow, and to become more resilient in the face of life's uncertainties. We stop resisting change and start flowing with it. The way we choose to perceive obstacles is also within our control. When we face setbacks or challenges, it's easy to feel like the world is against us. But what if you looked at challenges as opportunities? What if you started seeing every obstacle as a chance to learn, adapt, and grow stronger? This change in perspective can make a huge difference in how you handle life's difficulties. Instead of sinking into frustration or self-pity, you can focus on how to navigate the challenge in front of you. When you focus on what you can do rather than what you can't, you open the door to finding solutions. This shift also applies to your emotional state. We are often at the mercy of our emotions, allowing our feelings to dictate how we respond to life's challenges. But the truth is that while emotions are valid and part of the human experience, we don't have to let them control us. You can control how you respond to your emotions. You can choose to acknowledge how you feel without allowing it to paralyze you. For example, if you're feeling angry or sad, it's okay to feel those emotions, but it's important to ask yourself, how can I move forward? What action can I take right now that will help me feel better or improve the situation? By shifting your focus from being overwhelmed by emotions to taking action, you can regain a sense of control over your life. You don't have to be controlled by your feelings. Instead, you can allow your emotions to inform you and then move forward with intention. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It means recognizing that you have the power to choose your response and that you can take control of your emotional journey. Another area where focusing on what you can control is crucial is in the pursuit of your goals. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't happen as quickly as you'd like or when you face setbacks along the way. But when you focus on what you can control, the actions you take, the effort you put in, the small steps you make every day, you begin to see progress. You may not be able to control the exact outcome or timing, but you can control the work you put in, the mindset you maintain, and the persistence you show. When you let go of the need to control every detail and focus on the things within your power, you start to see the bigger picture. You start to realize that success is built on consistent effort, not on forcing things to happen on your timeline. The power of focusing on what you can control also lies in how it helps reduce stress. When we focus on things outside of our control, it's easy to become anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed. But when we redirect our energy to the present moment and the actions we can take, we begin to experience a sense of calm. The stress doesn't come from the things that are beyond our control. It comes from our resistance to accepting them. When we learn to let go of the need to control everything, we free ourselves from that stress and begin to live more peacefully. Shifting your focus from what you can't control to what you can is an ongoing practice. It takes time, patience, and self-awareness, but the rewards are immense. You'll find that you have more emotional stability, greater peace of mind, and a stronger sense of empowerment. Most importantly, you realize that you've always had the ability to create change in your life simply by focusing on the things that you can control. Embracing your strength is a crucial step in becoming the person you're meant to be. It's easy to underestimate our own power, to feel like we're not capable of handling the challenges life throws at us. But the truth is, every single person has within them an incredible well of strength that they can tap into. The question is, do we recognize it? Do we allow ourselves to fully acknowledge the power we hold inside? Often we believe that strength is something we either have or don't, something we either possess inherently or need to acquire. But real strength isn't about some inherent, unchangeable trait. It's about the capacity to rise, to overcome, and to continue moving forward despite life's obstacles. It's about discovering the strength that already resides within us, even in our weakest moments. One of the first things to understand about embracing your strength is that it's not about being perfect. Strength doesn't mean you never feel afraid, uncertain, or vulnerable. It doesn't mean that you never have moments of doubt or fear. In fact, the greatest sign of strength is the ability to feel those emotions and still move forward. Strength isn't the absence of weakness, it's the ability to persist in the face of it. It's about showing up even when the odds are stacked against you and continuing to fight for what matters. When you embrace your strength, you are acknowledging that while life may not always go the way you want, you have the resilience to face whatever comes your way. Our society often praises people for their external accomplishments, how much they've achieved, how far they've come, how much success they've accumulated. But true strength is not measured by external accomplishments alone. Strength is found in the way we handle the internal battles, the challenges that no one sees but that shape our character. The moments when we feel exhausted, defeated, and uncertain, but choose to get up anyway. True strength is quiet. It's not about boasting or showing off. It's about showing up for yourself when no one else can, when it feels like you have nothing left to give. It's about recognizing that you are capable even when you don't feel like it. Embracing your strength also means accepting your flaws and imperfections. Too often we're taught to hide our weaknesses, to pretend that we're always okay, to put on a facade of perfection. But true strength lies in embracing those imperfections, in accepting that we are not perfect and that it's okay. Strength comes from learning how to live with our imperfections and still move forward. It's about being honest with ourselves about where we fall short and choosing to grow anyway. It's about saying, I'm not perfect, but I'm still worthy. I still have the power to move forward and make a difference in my own life. One of the most powerful things we can do to embrace our strength is to trust in ourselves. It's easy to look outside of ourselves for validation, to seek approval from others, or to doubt our own abilities. But the truth is, we are the only ones who can truly define our worth and our power. Trusting in yourself is about believing that you have the capability to handle whatever life throws at you. It's about having faith in your own abilities, in your intuition, and in the choices you make. When you trust yourself, you are allowing your inner strength to shine. You are allowing yourself to be the person you are meant to be without holding back or second-guessing yourself. Another key aspect of embracing your strength is learning how to overcome adversity. Life is full of setbacks, challenges, and moments of difficulty. It's easy to feel defeated when things don't go as planned. But real strength is found in the way we respond to adversity. Do we give up or do we keep going? Do we let the difficulties define us or do we use them as stepping stones to grow stronger? Every challenge presents an opportunity to build resilience. When you face adversity and push through it, you are strengthening your ability to deal with the next obstacle that comes your way. The more you practice overcoming challenges, the stronger you become. Strength also comes from knowing when to ask for help. Often we think that embracing our strength means doing everything on our own, but the reality is that true strength involves recognizing when we need support and allowing ourselves to receive it. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. It takes strength to admit that we don't have all the answers and that we need others to help us through difficult times. Embracing your strength means knowing when to lean on others and trusting that it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Another important part of embracing your strength is learning how to take responsibility for your life. It's easy to blame others or external circumstances for our struggles, but true strength comes from taking ownership of our own lives. It's about accepting that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond. We can control how we move forward, what choices we make, and how we show up in the world. When we take responsibility for our lives, we reclaim our power. We stop letting external factors dictate our happiness and success, and we start taking action to create the life we want to live.